Welcome back to the Red Dirt Road podcast. How's it going? Marshall Farnsworth and Alex Breitenbach. What's going on?
Yeah, how's it going?
Good.
Nice.
And if you're listening to us now, we might actually have some new intro music I'm going to put in. I've already actually edited some episodes that'll come on after this because we had some new kind of breaking new songs from Ronnie Dunn that we're going to put in, including this one. But I got the song last year that we've been using, and I think I only had the rights to it for a year. And so that's
Ah,
about ending up. And then
interesting.
I'm just going to get I think one of those free ones from YouTube, copyright free. So
Yeah, they were.
they had some pretty decent ones. So if you're listening to this, I don't even know which one it's going to be. So there you go. I think this one will be the first one that we do it
Yeah,
for.
yeah, that'll be nice. Be a nice change to see a new introduction to the show.
So we talked about Train to Glory last week. Ronnie Dunn's, that was his first, well, actually the first original song from Ronnie Dunn or Kix Brooks since we started this podcast. And this is the first one that's been released on Spotify since we've been doing this podcast. Where the Neon Lies. It is by Triston Marez. Don't exactly know how to say his name. Don't really know a whole lot about him. Country artist from Texas, featuring Ronnie Dunn. And it's currently the most popular song on Spotify for both those guys. Released earlier this month, the month that we're recording this, March. And it's apparently for Tristan's upcoming album. Not a whole lot of information I found out on the guy. It's from Houston, sounds like. So here's my breakdown of the song. It's got a kind of 30-second intro, real slow. The first verse, Tristan is singing and he's talking about a girl who used to live at this house, doesn't anymore. Seems like she left. And he spends his time at the bar or just maybe sometimes at the own his house there drinking. And when you actually look at the lyrics look very creepy. Actually, if you don't really listen to the song, just look at the lyrics. Sounds like some kind of a Evanescence song or something like that, or maybe just something from a horror movie. It's talking about. I'm gonna actually pull up these lyrics just to give you an idea. Lives inside these four walls, her shadows in every room. Now it goes in real well with the song, but when you're looking at them, you're like, this is crazy, some kind of paranormal activity or something like that. But first chorus, it is talking about that he basically, when he's drinking, he feels all right. Quote, whiskey melts a cold goodbye. And Ronnie Dunn starts to come on during the chorus. Second verse, he takes over. He says basically that when he drinks, he convinces himself that she'll come back. Kind of gets away from the truth of the situation. It's a little bit unclear as to whether she is alive or if she passed away. Not entirely sure. Maybe she passed away, which usually these kind of country songs is not the case. Usually she leaves the guy, but because of the that first verse, kind of creepy. I'm thinking maybe she actually had passed away, and then it keeps going on with choruses. So I don't know if I have a ton to say, but I definitely have some exciting things I will say about this. I'll actually, you know what? I'll change it up. I'll go first this time. I love this song. Absolutely love it. I pretty much liked it from the very beginning, but the more I listen to it, the more I really enjoy it. Definitely 100% in my top five, not including Brooks and Dunn, just Ronnie Dunn. Top five Ronnie Dunn songs for me all time, and probably my all time. It might be my favorite all time. Just Ronnie Dunn song, not including the Brooks and Dunn. It
Wow,
probably is actually my favorite all time. There's some other good
wow.
ones, definitely top five, but maybe And I think that the two guys, Triston being from Texas and Ronnie Dunn being from Oklahoma, you can tell that that sound just goes so well together. And it sounds like, I don't want to say it sounds like an old Brooks and Dunn song, but the song, if you listen to kind of Ronnie Dunn's, his albums that he's been putting out in the 2010s after Brooks and Dunn kind of broke up, sounds just like this song. It really sounds a lot like it. But then he brings in this guy Triston, not as well known as Luke Combs, some other guys that they've had on that collab album. But I think he worked out better than I think any of those guys. Just comes on here and just he fits in so well as a compliment to Ronnie Dunn. I absolutely love this song. I bet at the end of the year it'll be in my top most listened to.
And I mean, yeah, I don't exactly know how to follow that. I mean, I had the pretty much the same feelings, although I do sort of agree with the sentiment that it is, we don't know if this woman died or not, or because we get that sort of dark but still very beautiful vibes from it. I think that this is very much going to be Triston Marez's breakout hit, because not only does he have Ronnie Dunn on the track with him, but it's a great song. I mean, I did some digging, and as far as I could find, out of the songs that I listened to, and he has an EP that he released a couple years back, 2018, I think, and then there was one other like full length album that he had. But this song I think was the best out of everything that I could find, and there was very little that you could find on him because he's still pretty not well known. But I think that Ronnie Dunn, as you said, they play off of each other very well, and it's much more than I would think John Party or Luke Combs did in the reboot album. I think it's a lot. There's definitely a lot more within this song, and I think almost Tristan Marez is a very, very interesting voice. I was not. It's kind of like I initially thought, oh, it's sort of like Luke Combs mixed with somebody else, but I'm not entirely sure who. And then you have the always great soulful voice of Ronnie Dunn for the chorus, and he gets his own verse, which really is awesome. I mean, at 67 years old, Ronnie Dunn is just unbelievable. He has not like he hasn't faded a bit, and to show that he can still make good music, like good new music, and this isn't electronic at all. There's nothing electronic about this song, so it's very traditionalist country vibes right there. I really like this song. I don't know if it'll be if it would rank as my favorite Ronnie Dunn song of all time, but um, it's definitely a very good song, and I wouldn't be surprised if I add this to my country playlist and binge it for the next 3 weeks.
Yeah, I think Ronnie Dunn, it's incredible how well he sounds in his 60s. I mean, think about this for a minute. He's already outlived Conway Twitty, and
Oh yeah,
he's sounding this well. I mean, this is you know, um, there's country artists that don't really do a whole lot once they get to this age, or artists in general, and he's sounding as good as ever. I mean, honestly, if he
oh
was,
yeah.
I mean, they literally did a reboot of their old album. Well, not of their old album, but of their big hits, and they sounded just as good as then, maybe even a little bit better. Might not be
Well,
moving around quite as much, but sounded fantastic.
yeah. Well, I want to talk about that for a minute because as artists age, you start to see them get a little bit more frail, obviously, but frail in vocal range as well. And I don't really think that's happened with Ronnie Dunn. Like you look at Johnny Cash, the later albums of Johnny Cash, which he has some great music there, but you can sort of tell that as he gets older, especially into his like 70s, 80s, and 90s, um, he definitely has a hard time singing. And it doesn't necessarily make his music any less good. It just you start to see that. But honestly, listening to this song, I can't tell the difference between Ronnie Dunn now and Ronnie Dunn when he's singing My Maria. I honestly can't. And and that's amazing. Kudos to him for that. That's awesome.
Yeah, Marez as well. I will say, I think his voice. I'll have to listen to more of his songs to kind of think of who he sounds like. To me, right now, he just kind of sounds like his voice, just kind of general sort of a modern country artist. But to me, it's the music that stands out. And knowing that he's from Texas, you know, there's a lot of Texas pride, and they what they do is they don't like to sound like this Nashville country pop. And there's a lot of good music coming out of Texas. And so to me, having one of his first big songs be with Ronnie Dunn, not a country pop artist, and having it sound like this is already making me a fan. So I'm excited for this guy's album already, much more than I am these artists that are popular these days. I don't really care about too much at all. So I'm already a
Oh
fan
yeah,
of this guy from just one song to listen to his other songs.
yeah. Can't wait to do some digging. I think it'll be fun.
Cool. Well, that is going to be a wrap on this song. Hopefully, more to come from Ronnie Dunn. Hopefully, Kix Brooks too. He had the cover last year, so he can still play some music. We'll see. We'll see if maybe they jump on a good old Luke Combs song or something like that. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
The
No,
tour this
definitely.
year. Hopefully, the tour. By the way, one last thing. I know Kenny Chesney canceled his tour this year. I'm really crossing my fingers that Brooks and Dunn, especially at their age, since they had not toured in so long. I'm hoping they don't cancel this year. Like my goodness, that because they not only canceled it last year, but they cut the dates like in half, and they had two in Ohio. Don't have any in Ohio this year. They do have one in Indianapolis, and so I'm trying to
You're
go
gonna
to
make a
that
hike
one.
for it? Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, it's later this year. I think it's all in the fall. So we got a little time. But yeah, that's gonna be it for today's episode. We will see you guys next time.